Right, picture 17, part 2. As I finished on the last one, yeah, I used to get my socks tied in a knot. And, yeah, and I'd shuffle around all the time. Instead of just taking them off. I used to love it as well. It used to tip me upside down and tie them. So I'd be hanging, you know, from my legs downwards. Anyway, back to the school. Right, Huntsman Garden School. This is the second part of what I wrote. When it was dinner time, we would have to march down to what used to be the girls' half. A small door in the wall took you into a courtyard downwards. Across this was another door. And then down, which, yeah, it was kind of, you come through one door, and you went down a slope, if anybody remembers, and then you'd kind of, excuse me, it's a tilt round to the left, and you go through another door. And then there was like some really steep stone steps with a metal railing running down one side, which would take you into it. Where was I? Yeah. Across this was another door which took you down some stone steps into the dining room. I only ever remember taking sandwiches, and it was always bloody potted meat as well. Oh God, potted meat. What was potted meat? I mean, oh sorry, potted meat and brown sauce. It was like a tub. Came in like a white clear tub, and it was like kind of a mixture of meat, a bit like the kind of like meat paste you get, except the dregs of it, and it always had like white lumps of fat in it as well, like little white lumps of fat. And I don't know what it's called, but that's what we used to call it, potted mate. What's for sandwiches, Mum? Potted mate. And to make it worse, we'd have brown chopped sauce. Remember the chopped sauce? We'd have that on as well. And I can taste it now. So bless her socks. My mum, if I like something, if she said, "Oh, I'm going to make something different," and I said, "Oh, I really like that," as you do to be polite, you'd get it for the next 6 months, at least. Anyway, bless her socks, love her to bits. Anyway, where was it? Yeah, always potted bloody meat with horrible white fat bits in. Also a beak of orange and biscuits. I would sit, and the beak of orange was really weak orange as well. Do you remember them? I think you can get them now, like a plastic carton with like a little square, circular foil lid, and you'd have to get a straw, and you'd have to literally, whack it to death to get the straw in. Anyway, yeah, a beaker of orange and biscuits. I was sitting at a table in the packed lunch area, and because of the bare room, it always sounded echoey. Whenever we were talking, the noise of the clanging plates, and it used to be so loud in that room, so loud. Packed lunch area, because of the bare room, it always sounded echoey, with dozens of kids all talking at the same time. This was also where we had our medical. Do you know, I remember that as well. I remember going down there as well and being led down into the room, and there was like them, like in the old Carry On films where you get the kind of shutters on wheels, which kind of go around. I remember having a medical there when I was about 11, which I'm not going to go into. Anyway, in our part of the school, we would look over the fence, right, which separated us from the next school, which was like the big school, the school up. When their breaks were up, the teachers would come out and make them line up outside. This was the bigger kids, and they had to be quiet before they could go in. Any noise or messing around resulted in a thick ear, and we would stare and dread the day that we would move up to this part of the school. That's true. I mean, because it was only a short fence, and we used to kind of just climb up and look over, and if the teacher didn't tell you to get back in your own part, and the teacher come on, and they were like, they literally, I don't think a bell went, I'm not so sure if anybody remembers, but they'd kind of run out and say, right, line up, and you'll have to line up in single file, and any talking or anything. I remember the teachers actually going up if somebody was talking, a right clip round the back of the head, enough to knock your eyeballs and your ears off. And we used to sit there, we used to watch, to stand there, and no way, I ain't going up to that school, not in a million years, I'm not going up to that. And funny enough, luckily, the year I finished, the 6 months holiday, and I was due to move up, we actually moved to Brightside in Sheffield for a bit. So I kind of went to Limpsfield Middle School. So I missed that little bit, even though I used to come back and spend a lot of time at Atticus. My mum and dad were living separately, and I used to spend a lot of time with my dad, so I used to spend a lot of time in the area anyway, but I never had to go to the big part of the school, which, thank you, bloody God for. Anyway, wait. Lost where I was. In thick air we would stare and dread, yeah. And I remember the nursery where I was, playing in the sandpit until, with the animals and cars. That was great, that was. Just as you walked into the main gate, into the little nursery part, you turned right, and right round the corner there was two big double I think they were blue doors with the same sort of ring handles. But when you walked in, there was a cloakroom, and then there was a class to the left and a class to the right. And one of them was just like an empty, echoey room, which was all painted blue with a sandpit. And it had a sandpit with a bit of a water thing at the side you could play in, and then behind it was a Wendy house. That was fantastic. I spent more time in there than I think I did anything else. I won't go into that. One thing I do remember, I remember the nursery. I was playing in the sandpit with the animals and the cars, and I kept bringing these animals home with me until my mum found out one day and made me take them back. And she went back with me just to make sure that I did it. That was so embarrassing. I don't know why. I just used to put one in my little pocket and come home with them. And I think she must have found me playing me about half a dozen animals and said, "Where did you get them from?" And because I could never lie to my mum, I'd tell her. And I remember she frog marched me back, and we had to go back and you know, Andrews took these by accident. Talk about embarrassing. I mean, she could have let me keep them. Didn't have any animals. Well, if I did, I probably chewed the legs off, because I used to do that as well. But that's a different story. Where were we? Right. Next to the sandpit was a big old sink full of water and toys. This was in front of the Wendy house, so you could reach out of the window and play in the water. Oh, classic. At PE time, we would go into the hall and sit on the floor. We had to do this in our underwear, which didn't go down too well with some of the Pakistanis, because most of them didn't wear any underwear. So they had to kind of like, I suppose, sit in the trousers type of thing. And after a while, I mean, that went on for so long, we'd sit in as underpants, but after a while they made us wear shorts. And I always remember them. I never took my own shorts for some reason, and I don't know why. But they were always black, and they always had a little picture on them. And I remember them being, she'd get this box out of the cupboard, and she'd open them up, and there was all these pair of shorts. And I suppose me being a chubby little bugger, I got the biggest pair, probably. But as I put here, they were all black with a little picture on, and I always remember mine was a moon. And these were really, really baggy and hung right down to my knees. You know, I could have kickboxed and swung around in these and probably ended up in one leg. They were massive, and I had to tie them right tight to stop them from falling down, which was probably just under here, so I probably just looked like, I don't know, a pair of shorts with a small pair of legs and a big pair of arms. To stop them from falling down. I have lots of little memories about the school. One in particular, when I left at playtime, I remember this, yeah. And I just got my coat and left, and I was convinced it was home time. And I remember doing it. I remember coming out, getting my coat, and walking out the school, out the door, walking down the Francis Street as it was, to where my house was at the end on Chippenham Street. And I thought, it's a little bit quiet. I don't understand. It's a bit quiet, you know, type of thing. And I didn't think nothing on it. And I got home, and my mum went, "What are you doing home?" And I was like, "Well, it's home time, innit?" My mum went, "No, it's not. You're not home for another hour." Or another hour and a half. And I was so embarrassed about it, and she made sure she took me back to school to apologise to the teacher. And I was like, "No, just leave it, leave it, leave it." And I remember she literally had to drag me back, because I was more embarrassed about going back and facing the teacher than I was just going in next day. So she dragged me back, and I remember when I got back, and the teacher went, "Oh, that's okay, you know, it's happened before," type of thing. You know, but I think she felt sorry for me, because by that time I was probably red and sobbing, massive red nose and tears streaming down my eyes, as you do. That's all I've got written for the school. I've got lots of memories of the school. I'll probably put some more in later at some further stage. When I've done these videos, I'm hoping to go into other things that I remember and tell you stories about them. But yeah, that was picture 17, part 2. I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit more upbeat than the last ones. I looked at some of the other ones and they seemed a bit miserable, so I thought I'd liven this one up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Bye.